So let's start and have a look at the viewport. So how do you rotate the camera? Let me just turn my screencast key so you can see down here. I must mention in the bottom left here, this is just for the tutorials, you can see all my key presses. So if you're lost, you can just see what keys I'm pressing as well. So to rotate the camera in the default viewport, you need, well, I must have mentioned this earlier, but you need a 3-button mouse. So in order to rotate the camera, we're going to use the middle mouse button, and that will rotate our viewport here. Now if we want to pan the camera left and right, you need to hold shift and then use the middle mouse button, and that will rotate pan our camera around our scene. So it's a very agile workflow. So you always have your hand in a position where it's over the shift key and some of the shortcut keys. Now if we want to zoom, all we have to do is scroll the mouse wheel, and that will zoom the camera in and out. So just get used to that, holding shift, rotating the camera, zooming in, and if we use that shift C shortcut again, often at times that can also help reset the camera if you need it to. Now, so that's some basic rotation: rotate, zoom, pan. Now, talking earlier how I said if you need to emulate the keypad is very useful for some camera shortcuts. So down here on this toolbar we have this view option, and if you see here, this view, we've got some shortcuts here which have their name shortcut already present. So we're going to use the numpad to quickly shift between like side view, front view and top view. So numpad 1 is front view, numpad 3 is side view, and numpad 7 is top view. And you can just get used to that. Now you may notice that this isn't a proper side view, and that's because Blender has two ways of rendering the perspective, and by default it's in perspective mode. If we want an orthographic view, so a flat side view, you want to hit the 5 shortcut, and that will change the viewport to either orthographic or perspective mode. Usually we want to work in orthographic mode. If we are dealing with modeling objects and we want to get a side perspective, you want to set that to numpad 5. So now if we switch between numpad 1, numpad 3, numpad 7, we can get the top, front and side view, and that's going to be the most beneficial views for us in 3D modeling. So is there anything else I can say about the viewport? Some usability things is the whole Blender UI is very modular. We can customize it to how we so wish it to be. For now I'm going to leave it in the default positions, not to confuse any of you guys, but you can adjust the width of these panels, we can make the viewport bigger, we can hide this thing. If you accidentally hide something, usually there's a little plus button that will allow you to bring that back. And you can see here there's a plus button here, and that will bring this menu up. And this menu, I must inform you that these two menus are synonymous with our 3D view, and the 3D view is listed under these editor types. Now I wouldn't worry too much, but if you click on, you can see here on every window there's these little drop downs, and that allows you to choose what mode you're in. Now specific to the 3D view, if you use the T and N keys, you can hide or view these side panels, and we can sometimes hide those just to get a better or wider 3D view. We can also, I'd like to add one other thing. You see this little sort of lines in the corner here. When you mouse over, your cursor changes into a little crosshair, and what this allows you to do is if you click and drag on this crosshair, it allows us to split the view. Now it can be a little bit confusing sometimes, but you have to remember it takes priority in whatever's the largest size of the window. So we can say you've got two independent viewports now, 3D viewports. But like I said earlier, we have this drop down. We can actually change this to match. This is like the properties panel as we see over here, but presented in this window. So we can choose whatever editor we want to view within this window size. For now I'm going to leave that to 3D view, and what we can also do, is split this again in half, so now we can create essentially a quad view. Now let's say we want to collapse these back down. It's quite easy. If you click and drag, you can't click and drag left and right, so you have to remember what order you split the windows, as it kind of prioritizes it in the sequence that you cut the windows in. So we're going to click, if you click and hold, this arrow will pop up and it will ask you which direction you wish to collapse the window in. So we can choose to collapse it up, and what it will do is this one will pop up here and bring it back to the full dimensions, and we can do the same over here. Oops, I've just split it again. So we're going to pop that back in there, and we can merge that back up there as well, and then we can merge them all back together in one go. And as you can see, our 3D cursor is moved, so I can hit Shift C to position that back. And I think that's about it for this video. As I mentioned before, I intend to, well actually I haven't mentioned this, I'll mention it now then. I plan on kind of just going with the flow and explaining things as I go, and you can try and pick up things as I explain them and figure them out a little bit for yourself. So I'm going to end this video here. I hope that gives you a brief introduction into how to use the viewport, and hopefully that will give you a good head start in using Blender. I'll see you very soon in the next video, and thanks for watching.